All right. I don't really know how to start this one with 3 people now. Tim,
Yes.
intro, go. Thank you. Excellent.
I feel like this is one of those like presentations at school. Everyone's just sitting there not wanting to present. Like, Tim, go. And you're like, I lifted it home. My
Anyway,
dog
welcome.
ate it. It's like, Tim, you're supposed to like do something like a car battery. Your dog ate a car battery. Yes.
I just raised my hand so you wouldn't pick me.
We all did the nose goes thing, and you didn't put your finger in your nose.
What?
What?
You know where you like put your finger in your nose, and the last person who does that is the one who has to do it.
No.
You never done that?
No.
What? The
I
fuck kind
think-
of teacher did you have?
That wasn't that. It was just like a thing kids
Your
did.
ass. Last one to do it.
Last one to do it isn't weird. I mean, I think I'd rather just go up and keep my pride.
Jesus Christ. So this is I don't know what this is. This is yours, not mine. I don't know.
Yeah,
what it
this is mine. This is spite talk or whatever the hell I'm gonna call it from now on. I don't know.
How about fire? It's fire.
I know we should call it the void
With fireside chats.
or loading screen.
The campfire songs.
Campfire songs.
songs. Well, I put a finger up my ass. And that's all you talk about. Like that's the whole song.
You just talk about putting a finger up your ass.
Uh-huh.
So the next 30
Okay,
minutes
then.
is dedicated to just that topic. Go.
Well, I figure if you're at like camp, and it's all boys, it would just fall in with the theme. You know what happens at camp stays at camp.
Okay,
Put a
then.
finger up my ass.
So does the person who's talked about stays at camp.
It's a
Did any
camp
of you guys
We
activity.
don't
camp?
talk about camp.
Did you guys go to camp?
Yeah. I
Mm,
don't like to think about it.
Like summer camp, like not Boy Scouts, but just summer camp.
Oh, Bible camp.
no.
Bible
Nope.
camp?
Yeah.
The power of Christ compels you.
I
I
don't
would-
remember anything, but I remembered we had candy for lunch.
Ooh.
That's all I remember.
Ooh.
I had a Boy Scout jamboree that I can barely remember. All I remember is like nighttime, lots of
Right.
colors and lights, and then darkness. It kind of sounds like I had a really bad trip.
Was Uncle No Touch there?
I mean, all I remember is I got a medal at the end for being good.
For surviving.
I don't. It was some stupid award, and there's like
It's-
1,000 kids there, and I just get this medal for being good.
You get instructed to the counselors. This is counselor No Touch.
It's like a pity medal. You know, like we're gonna give this kid a medal. You know, he's just over there drooling.
You're the one they didn't want to touch.
That's why you got the medal, so you feel special about not getting touched.
Do you know how depressing it would be to like live your life like this long and then find out you were actually retarded the whole time? You just didn't know you were, and then everyone else is like avoiding it around you, but you're like in your 20s and you're like, oh shit.
No.
I'd be pissed off.
I'm
I'd be like,
retarded.
why didn't no one tell me?
No, could you imagine you're on your deathbed and someone tells you?
By the way, you were retarded.
that would explain so much. I die.
Jesus Christ, that needs to be a movie.
Boy, I die.
So is this gonna be like the bonus segment for the Patreon subs?
No, this is just all gonna be in it. We don't need to be, strictly doing the same thing.
I guess
or
we can throw it
starting
in
out.
at the end.
That's
Alright.
be in the very beginning.
Oh Lord.
So today's topic, I guess, is what? Gaming tutorials?
Yes, tutorials.
People are going to be checking that title over and over in the beginning, like, wait, what was the topic?
We
We
start
see
talking
the
about fingers up the ass. And
With podcasts, they don't all have to be like instantly on topic. We just
Yeah,
have
I know.
banter.
We just went
beforehand
on
and
some
everything.
major tangents, though.
Yeah, and
it's going to be a 30-minute video, and the last 2 minutes is tutorials. So, yeah, that's what we think. Goodbye.
Yep, goodbye.
Like modern television.
But let's see. Tutorials. So we're gonna talk about all the fun stuff that tutorials do,
Yeah.
all the bad stuff,
Yep.
all the annoying stuff, and if games even have tutorials, or there's like throw you in, be like, good luck, have fun.
You know what game needs a tutorial? Tetris. You don't see anything there, bastards.
I think like back in
Okay.
those days, it just came in a booklet.
We were smart enough to realize how to play a game.
Well, I think
mean-
back then we knew how to read. We were literate back then. Like now, like when you get a game, if you like get a physical copy, which is kind of rare nowadays, but if you go get a physical copy, you open up the inside. It's just like a little pamphlet. It's like, hey, thanks for buying this. Here's a tiny poster. There's like
I miss
no
manuals.
actual manual or anything in there.
I miss them so much. They're so nice to have. But no, everything's like, oh yeah, it's a virtual manual where you just go into the game, like on the dashboard or whatnot, and just read the manual from there, instead of just having an actual manual.
But really, those games back when Tim mentioned like Tetris, it had such a simple, fun design that you didn't even need to really read a tutorial or have anything like that because you only had like 4 buttons that you could experiment with. I mean, you're going to figure it out pretty quick, and I think that was kind of beautiful on why those games caught on, is because I mean anyone could do it.
All right, hypothetically, say you were to play Tetris and you have no idea what Tetris was. You start out that game. What do you think you're supposed to do? Just out of curiosity.
Drop blocks down. Oh, I can rotate them. Oh, if I get a line, it disappears. Okay.
But imagine how long it would take you
fun.
to figure that out. Like, oh, I just have to fill the thing. Oh no, never mind.
Someone should make a game of Tetris. So make a game of Tetris where it's like building the wall. Like that's how the wall is being built. It's like being airdropped.
How much would I bet Trump has that like a flash game in his office? It's like
That's always playing on his phone. He's just like, ooh.
It's aliens, the space invaders. It's just him on a wall running back and forth shooting people.
That's like some very political cartoony games right there.
I have a feeling it exists.
I think
it probably does.
When games kind of deviated from that simplistic design and needed tutorials is probably, it follows, I think, the controls and the motion and the dynamics of the thing that you control. Back in Tetris, I mean, you're on a 2D plane. There's not a whole lot to it. But you start going into like 3D games and you have, multiple axes of movement, different animations, a whole bunch of different things you're going to be doing and exploring. You kind of have to put something there to explain what to do because you can't just pick it up and figure it out. I mean, like our parents or our grandparents could probably figure out Tetris on their own and probably have fun with it. But if you gave them like, I don't know, like Tomb Raider on the PS1, they're going to get really aggravated unless you told them what to do. You know what I mean? Like there's the difference. And that, I think when 3D came around is when you really had to have tutorials.
Speaking of Tomb Raider, actually, they didn't give you a tutorial straight off the bat. You had to go to Laura's house to learn the tutorial, and people just immediately went to the new game instead.
That was me. Yeah, I did that.
I did too. The first time I played, I was like, "What do I do?"
But when you go into her house, it's a really good tutorial. It really encapsulates what you need to do. It gives you plenty of time. It's not rushed. You can always go back, and it has a fun little setting there, especially in the second one.
To add on to that, I agree with the whole not forced tutorial.
Yeah,
Optional.
yeah. There's nothing more demeaning than a tutorial. It's like push forward to move, and they do the checkpoint system where you have to do that to move on.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of gets on my nerves as well.
Push C to crouch. It's like, oh, you and 5,000 other games did the same thing. Oh, I thought it would be B this time. Yeah. Demeaning.
God. Also, it brings on brings up the fact that some games where, you can't skip tutorials. Like, I'll take the Pokemon games, for example, because I've been playing Pokemon for 20 years or so. Like, I know how to catch a damn Pokemon. You don't need to have the exact same tutorial for every single game. Give you the option of skipping it.
Yeah, you just throw it right there in the menu, and it's easy. You just go down one option.
Or at least have a question. Have you played this game before?
But
yes. Nope.
Are you
skip the tutorial.
30 years old and you've played every single Pokemon game known to man? Here you go. Here's everything.
Are you a loser? Yes. Okay, skip tutorial. It's like it just assumes everything about you. It's like, do you still live with your parents at 35? Okay, then you can skip this tutorial because I just feel sad for you. I think though with some games, it's kind of weird to separate the tutorial and the prologue of the game. Because imagine Pokemon, like a new Pokemon you just got, and you skip the tutorial and all the story with it, and you just pick a starter and you're just walking around. You're going to be really confused. Even though you know how to play, you have no idea what your motivation is. So you have to make a story sequence before. And I like games that do that. I like the ones that just kind of give you a little bit of a cutscene or story, and then you just play.
Just play.
And you could just push start and look at the controls if you need them.
I don't know. Spider-Man, its tutorial was it's just so fluent. You didn't even know you were playing a tutorial.
For the new one?
Yeah, I wish more games would be like that, where it adds the tutorial into the game so you don't feel like an idiot.
I remember with the second game, there was kind of a tutorial there. It was very brief, and they kind of did it throughout the game as you unlock new powers. And they had these little nodes where you could go get little hints and tidbits of information for the gameplay. But all the narration was done by Bruce Campbell. So, I mean, you love the tutorial stuff because you got to hear his voice and then make jokes and stuff.
And basically berate you for messing up.
Pretty much.
I like that. I like when games include that as well.
Oh, good. You forgot how to crouch. You died, dumbass.
I would love if a game called me dumbass. Especially if it was in Red Foreman's voice.
There needs to be a mod or someone just adding his voiceover to shit when you die.
Dumbass.
Could you another thing is Stin said earlier about games evolving and shit. Could you imagine going back in time and telling someone who created Mario on the Super Nintendo, hey, about 20 years from now, there's gonna be a device where you can have over 1,000 different input commands. How do you feel about that? Just the heart attack you would give them? What do you mean it's not just up and right?
Oh man, could you imagine motion controls for the NES? If you had put on VR.
Oh god.
And you're playing Mario in first person.
Today
we are so saturated by VR. We get it. You put it on and you can use your hands and you have to use the controller to move around. But then everyone would get so sick. People would just throw up probably.
Well, because you can't put 2D into 3D like that. Unless they, modded it to add 3D textures. That's about it.
Cell shading. Just cell shade everything.
Oh, that'd make me sick. But it would just be literally you would see a straight line of one color if you put the VR headset on. That's all you'd see.
That would be pretty nauseating.
If you're going from Mario's perspective. It would just be a fucking line of color, red, green, blue, just all one line.
What is that? Is that a Goomba? I can't tell. Oh, I'm dead. Okay, it was a Goomba.
Could you imagine just a fucking dead screen and it's just blackness?
Oh, this is the afterlife now.
There's brightness and then just blackness for no reason.
You know how we were talking about tutorials kind of being a little insulting with how easy they are? Do you remember any that were much harder than what the game actually was?
Oh, I thought you were talking about tutorials that were hard. Not bad.
Well, I mean, say driver. You have to drive around that parking lot doing all those. You had to do all of those things in a time limit in order just to play the game.
And you had no idea what the fuck half of them were.
You didn't know what the controls were. They didn't tell you the controls, but it's the tutorial.
Apparently the game was good though. I never got past that.
Me neither.
I played the run from cops like all day though.
Yeah, that was the best.
And then GTA came out and it was basically enough.
Enough? What?
Yeah, well, it's the same game. It just added more. So, Driver went out the window for me.
I never played Driver. I played a game called Stuntman, which is from the makers of Driver. Which, by the way, they didn't give you a tutorial at all for that game. You had to figure it out on your own. Unless you looked inside the booklet, which, there we go. We need the booklet for some things.
What if you're renting it?
Then you're screwed.
Some guy named Kyle has the booklet. No one else gets to know.
God damn it, Kyle.
I played the one on the PS2.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
I think they had one on the PS1, and then I think they had one that came out on the previous generation. They're pretty fun.
They're challenging though.
What I hate about tutorials sometimes is they don't prepare you for how hard the game is actually going to be. Like, oh, here's a simple fight, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, your first real fight, you get your shit kicked. Because, hey, there's a bunch of other things we forgot to tell you about.
Dark Souls.
Or like a fighting game where you have a static dummy, you know? And then it's like, do all this stuff on a guy that can't fight back. Then you go in the game and you're surrounded and they fight back.
I thought you were just going to stand there and let me punch you. Why are you attacking back?
Street Fighters. Yeah, right there. It's like, here's the combo. Okay, now do this in a real situation where you're dodging and being punched yourself.
And
good luck.
Memorize all of them. Memorize all the moves.
And we want you to do this on a control pad that's really not fine-tuned for this shit. So you think you're hitting it 3 times, you actually hit it 4 times. You know? I hate Street Fighter. Bad memories. I used to play it on the big fucking honking machine in my grandpa's fucking garage. God damn it.
I want an arcade cabinet.
No, I can't. They're expensive.
They're like at least $2,000.
You can build your own though.
What you could do, you could, instead of having to buy a bunch of machines, you could get a Neo Geo type deal, and you load in the games and you can change them in and out, or have them all saved on there and make like a pseudo cabinet.
Or just get a Raspberry Pi and build your own.
Yeah, really, you could.
Yeah, fun stuff. One of my goals though is actually own an arcade cabinet and a pinball machine.
Now the pinball one's probably going to be easier.
Still expensive, also
You just
fun.
build it.
I mean, you could just go to like a rinky-dink closing bowling alley and they'd probably just give it to you.
He's just that guy sitting outside every day like, what are you waiting for? You to go out of business. I want your pinball machine.
And that's how you don't get it.
For your life to fall apart and your children to hate you.
His building's on fire one day, you're standing there just smiling.
How do those places stay in business? Like
bowling alleys?
You know what I'm talking about? Like the really bad bowling alleys. But they're always still around.
It's because no one wants to buy them.
I mean, but how are they not like in super debt?
It's
because
really cheap to run a bowling alley. Like
I guess, but there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of power. You got to make food and stuff.
No, you don't need to make food.
You just bank on all the old guys wanting to come to bowl. That's it.
I mean,
one person can run it basically.
I don't know about you guys, but every time I go to the bowling alley, I always get chili cheese fries. Every time.
And you're the reason why the balls are all greasy.
Yeah.
I usually eat after, but yeah, I do that just to get a strike easier. I'm like rubbing like oil on it.
He's rubbing his balls, that's all.
Oh god. No, every bowling alley in my city is always jam-packed.
Speaking of like
what is the national sport of Canada?
Hockey.
What's the second national sport?
Curling.
Exactly.
I thought it'd be like football.
Fuck no.
Not even Canadian football, not rugby?
No.
Oh.
No, but it's literally hockey and curling.
Well, nobody I know watches curling, but Everyone likes to bowl.
Well, curling is essentially bowling, which is with also sweeping.
I thought curling is like where you put that hot thing in your hair and you like twist it. Everyone in Canada has a perm, right?
I know Tim does.
National sport of freaking curling.
it's
It's just a close up of someone's hair. Fucking Jesus Christ.
Speaking of like tutorials and like sports, I found those the worst. The ones that tell you how to play the sport, like in a tutorial. The ball is going to come at you. You hit with stick. Oh, I've never heard of this one before.
A is to pass.
The controls in sports games are
myself.
so simple. Push
But
B
then-
to win.
Then they don't explain the, like in football games, they don't explain. Okay, here's the plays, and they don't tell you how to do that.
Or the technical interactions of what type of move will triumph what, and like the real physics of it, they don't talk about. They're just like, here, control, throw ball, win game.
And now he's insulted like a whole bunch of sports fans.
But it's true though.
If we want to insult sports fans, it's basically the same game every year, or it's just as stupid. The only difference I've seen over the few years,
Better graphics, that's it.
no, not even that. They add different things like jumping over people or actually interacting with your character, not just running in a straight line. That's the only innovative thing I've seen come out of every sports game. Is the interactions you can do.
My favorite sports game with interactions is that one football game. I forget it. It's
My
like
favorite one
really
is the one I
rough.
forget.
It's like underground football,
Yeah,
right?
the underground games are always the best.
And you
No
can like
rules.
injure people and like almost like Mortal Kombat X-ray moves, and you like break their leg or their like pelvis or their genitals or their neck, and they're just like dead. They're like seriously dead. They just died on the field.
I think we're finding out Stin's like a psychopath here.
It's all
I
the
love
screwdrivers.
killing
The funny
people.
thing is, like, you in the single player, like you're trying to go through the leagues and make it big, but you can't actually lose unless you get injured in the groin. As soon as you
that
break
makes
like
sense.
as soon as you break your dick, the game's over.
Both your
Not
legs
even
are
joking.
broken. You can't even hold the basketball. You keep going,
Let,
motherfucker.
let me see what the name of this was.
And then you get punched in the dick, and you're just like bent over, throwing up, being like, nope, no more, can't do it.
You can't have
Can't do
kids
it.
no more. It's over. Game over.
No, it's not. Oh yeah, Blitz the League. That's what it was. Blitz the League.
I remember playing that.
That game was great.
Wow, great.
Did either of you guys play XCOM?
No.
Yeah.
So you know how in the tutorial it was like super fucking easy,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, okay, this is how every fight's gonna go, right? Just do flanks and shit. And the game actually happens, and you find out it's all based about luck.
Yeah, and like you'll be point blank and miss.
Exactly. It's like the game lies to you. Like, oh, just if you flank and play smart, you'll win. And spread out your guys. You spread out your guys, the alien's like, well, we'll just pick you off one by one.
You have to hoard them together and arm everyone with explosives. Just blow up everything.
Everyone's got like 3 grenades. Like, no cover for you.
No stealth. Stealth is horrible.
Oh, XCOM's 2 stealth was just like, hey, one guy has stealth. The rest of you just do your thing.
Did you play the X-Files declassified thing where it's like a third-person shooter?
For like 2 hours.
The Bureau, that's what it was.
Yeah, XCOM Declassified Bureau Declassified or some shit. Yeah. When I found out that you only get like 3 weapons against their laser weapons, I was like, fuck this.
Here's your Rudy Tooty aim and shooty,
And M1 Garand versus goddamn
a
lasers.
stick, and a rock.
I don't know. They tried at the third person. It failed miserably. We're not here about fucking failure ideas.
I feel like
That's another
in
episode.
strategy games, the tutorials were the most weak in explaining things. Like, they just tell you basic commands like, click here to make unit attack. Click there to make them move there. Here's how you bring more troops. But they don't tell you strategy. They don't tell you what works. They're
Well,
just
that's why you're
like,
supposed to figure it out yourself.
I guess, but that's a lot of failure, you know?
That's what
Like,
strategy games are all about, though.
Do you think they give you like basic, like, hey, don't build a bunch of like repair guys with no army.
Well, that's your own fault for building a bunch
But,
of repair
but you know
guys.
what I mean, though? Like, they don't tell you, like, mistakes. Like, oh, by the way, if you build this building, you can't build that one.
Can you imagine in the middle of a game you have like 400 of these one dude that are good at like tanks? Oh, you built nothing against infantry. That's a shame.
Sometimes that works. It's like a Zerg rush. You just, like, swarm them with one unit type.
That's what Company of Heroes does.
Oh, man.
Freedom Bloods. Oh, the horror.
Oh.
Company of Heroes, though, doesn't. Its tutorial is pretty straightforward. Cover. Go flank. Good. Okay, go have fun.
One of the games I played recently, I've kind of gotten back into browser games. You remember when those were a lot popular, like 15 years ago? Browser games were pretty cool, like armor games.
They're still pretty cool.
Congregate.
Well, yeah. I found one on the Adult Swim website, and it's called Smash and Dab. It has like just 3 lines of instructions.
Oh, I thought it was like you literally just smash someone and you got to do 3 lines of coke.
I'm gonna give you guys a link to it.
That's my Saturday night.
Here, I played this for like literally 2 hours straight, which is pretty good for a browser game.
I mean, did you ever play the tank one? I forgot what they called it. Tank RPG?
Tank RPG?
The tank game. I forget what they called it. I think it's Tank RPG.
Yeah, it's you would go into a lobby with someone else and you would it'd be like what do you call that game? Bomberman, but it was on the phone, the computer. I don't know. It's Bomberman with tanks. What the shit is this?
Crash Bash. Surprised didn't say anything about that.
Crash Bash.
What the fuck is this game?
It's fun.
Oh,
You know what's funny?
If
I
you
didn't
look
watch
at,
the
like,
tutorial.
People who make games that aren't in it for the money, like it's just a passion thing, they keep the game simple. Almost all of them keep the game simple. Not like there's no complexity to it at all, but they keep it to where it's really easy to pick up and play. Like indie developers usually do that a lot. It's only like these AAA companies that make convoluted controls.
This fucking game. Let's dab. How to dab. Who dab?
Exactly. That's all you need to know.
What the fuck is this game? Anyway, I'll come back to that.
I will as well because I can't dab while trying to talk.
Yeah. Minecraft.
That sounds like a
remember its
personal
tutorial? There was no tutorial.
They just threw you in a world. You got to figure out what the hell you wanted to do. And for
And
some reason,
sometimes-
everyone just wanted to punch a tree.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't want to have a tutorial because self-discovery is good.
I don't know if you're playing like Tekkit or anything. A tutorial would be nice.
If you say Tekken?
Tekkit, yeah.
Oh, Tekkit, the mod pack.
Yeah, like, oh, here's 5,000 things.
Yeah.
Have fun.
I mean, it's one thing to build a house. It's another thing to build a power plant.
Exactly. We're not all engineers here. We don't have hours to go into Facebook.
Or wiring or programming
YouTube.
computers in Lua.
And ordering pizza through Minecraft.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, some guy got a phone to work in Minecraft and he ordered Pizza Hut.
Dude, he should have FaceTimed them.
Dude, they did. Oh, FaceTime. No. I don't think
Was it Captain Sparkles?
I mean, I've seen a FaceTime thing people do.
Could
with
you
the
imagine? You get a call from someone who's playing Minecraft and you open it up and it's just the guy's avatar in Minecraft. Hey, what's up?
How do I deliver to you? You're not even in the same
Virtually.
dimension.
Send me a virtual pizza, please.
All right, what's everyone's favorite or least favorite tutorial that they can think of off the bat?
A driver. I've not beaten it. To this day, I have not even been able to play the game.
It's okay, nobody has.
My favorite one is Dark Souls.
You just hate yourself.
That's beside the point.
The game lets you fail so much.
Least favorite's got to be every Bethesda game.
I like how you can just leave the zone and like fall out. You just leave.
And there's an explosion. It's like,
You
oh, you
just-
done fucked up.
Or you end the tutorial by killing the tutorial person.
I wish I could
remember
do that in old school RuneScape. I really
Oblivion,
do.
you couldn't even kill the Emperor. I tried.
No,
I was-
actually, I think you can, but then it like game overs you.
It's really hard to do it. But like I was like, you just let a murderer go. I'm gonna kill all you fools, and nothing happened.
My favorite thing in that game is the physics with putting a body in the door and closing the door, and it just spazzes out.
I'm not saying they're bad tutorials, by the way. I'm just saying that they're unskippable, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, because it's like one of those story-based tutorials, where it's mostly talking.
Like Skyrim, they had to make a mod for people to avoid the goddamn like 30-minute intro.
Whenever you're
Doing tutorial, do you guys like loot everything
Oh yeah,
Yes.
if you can? Yeah.
Everything.
And then you find out it's worth nothing.
I still do it.
care.
I'm a video game hoarder. I hoard everything in video games.
Are you that guy in Skyrim that has
Like 500 health potions that you never drink.
yes.
you're just in the game with them too?
I'm the kind of guy that puts like makes 1,000 potions that like do all 1 point of damage and have a chest full of them. I just no one can afford to buy them all, so they just sit there for eternity. I got like 20,000 worth of potions that no one can afford, so I just don't bother selling them.
Well, that's your own problem. Sell one, take the loss, and just work up from that. Or just use them.
That's
Use
too
'em,
much
Tim.
work. Too bad you can't stack poisons. Stack 500 of 1 damage poisons on a sword and just smack
Good
someone with
lord.
it.
Give one. Just poke them with it, and they die instantly.
Bring it on, Alduin. I got a short dagger, bitch.
You know what was a fun tutorial, and this is out of left field, but the SpongeBob creature from the Krusty Krab tutorial where you're going through the different dreams.
Or SpongeBob's dream, I guess. It was just like, it throws you in this
Absurd scenario that's just absolutely fun.
I've never played the SpongeBob game.
Oh man, it's great.
I never played it as well, so it's up to you to explain us.
Oh, well, you're in SpongeBob's dream where he's like a race car driver, and it's just like this absurd, like surrealist thing of SpongeBob becoming like super hardcore. Like he looks really gross, but it's like a racing thing, and then the rest of his level is just like his inner subconscious of like suppressed desires and stuff. Like it makes it interesting. You kind of want to play the tutorial because you're like, ooh, what other weird things am I gonna see?
Oh, yeah, that's not something I would say to that.
Do you guys remember games where like
I don't know if you've ever had this problem where games would crash a lot in the tutorial, but nowhere else in the game.
Nope.
I know for
Knights of the Old Republic 2, I had to be really careful about the tutorial. Even to this day, it's just the way the game's made. The game will crash like 80% of the time in the tutorial, so I have to like figure out a way to skip it.
Don't think I ever got past the tutorial in that game. Simply because I was bored.
it was a really bad tutorial. Like it was boring.
Exactly.
You just played as the little droid guy, and it was like depressing, and everyone's dead, and
Game
I don't know.
advertises you being a fucking Jedi, and you're like, what the shit is this?
Yeah. Or misleading games.
Where you're like, oh, I get to be a Jedi. You don't get a lightsaber through like most of the game.
Exactly. Trying to think of a tutorial that really just blew my expectations out of the water, though.
Dark Souls.
No. I knew what I was getting into in that game.
I know in
Knights of the Republic 1, you get this guy named Trask Olgo. He's like looking out for you and stuff, and like you're fighting side by side. And then he's just a soldier, okay? And then he opens up this locked door, and there's like this Darth Maul looking guy with a double-bladed lightsaber. He's like, you go to the escape pods, I'll hold him off. And he just had like an aluminum looking sword, and the door just closes behind, and you just hear an explosion, and he just sacrificed himself. He just went like one-on-one with a dark Jedi and like died. It was so impactful for me.
that guy's my hero. And he was only in the tutorial.
Oh, I just realized.
Well, there's a reason
Dying
for that.
Light.
He's dead.
But it's like, now I hate that guy. I hate that man. I didn't care about the rest of the story in the game. I just wanted to kill him. He killed my buddy.
That's a good tutorial then. Makes you feel.
I didn't care about the galaxy. I want to kill him.
You might be turning into a Sith at that point.
Exactly.
It's Anakin 2.0 right over here. You
Is
killed
there
my
any
mom.
good Star Wars games where you can actually play as a Sith?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shit. The Republic, or what was that? Shit. There was
You can
one.
play in the Old Republic. You
Yeah,
can
the
play
Old
as a Sith in both the Knights of the Old Republic games. The
There's
Force
a DLC
Unleashed.
specific to it.
There's
Isn't
the
there?
Force
Oh, but-
Unleashed you can do.
Oh, I know those two, but like those are like trying to push you towards being a good Jedi.
Not really. It's kind of open.
You get to do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to play it, but I got bored.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's just because you're easily bored.
You kind of made a good point. There's no good Star Wars games now that I think about it.
Not
Despite
really.
Despite it being so popular.
Not really. I mean, Jedi Knight Academy was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
Force
I mean,
Unleashed
it's
was fun.
aged.
I remember that. But I was going through my Steam library and I saw Dying Light. That tutorial blew my expectations out of the water.
Yeah, that was a good tutorial.
What do you mean? It's like Assassin's Creed and Dead Island? Fuck yeah.
It's what Dead Island should have been.
Exactly. It was. I think it was the creators of Dead Island too, if I remember correctly. I don't know.
How
That's all
about
I
the
got.
tutorial in Dead by Daylight?
What tutorial?
There's a tutorial, but it doesn't
There
really.
is?
Yeah, you get 50,000 blood points for finishing
What?
it. Yeah.
I know what I'm doing
Yeah.
later.
And the Meg shows exactly what it's like working with people.
But it
That's what I
doesn't
was-
actually prepare you. It just tells you how to work on a gen and like how to hit someone, and that's about it.
Okay, go out there, my son.
Yeah.
I have given you the basics of it.
I
Now
started
you must
playing-
deal with power loops and flashlights.
I started playing Killer. I've never had so much fun.
Mm-hmm. It's the best way to play.
Like, I've had games that lasted like half an hour because the guy will not work on a generator. He refused to leave. He was in the basement for 30 fucking minutes.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that.
I just went down there and I just heard a door open. I'm like, oh, you've been down here this entire time.
I had that happen when there was no gens done, there's no hatch, and there's 2 people left.
Yeah.
And they just chilled in the basement. I looked all over for them.
Still a good game. I've never had so much fun fucking killing people.
I hope last year
Hashtag
is
no
going to be a good
context.
game. Last year looks like a lot of fun.
Last year, never heard of it.
It's kind of a similar deal.
Isn't it Kickstarter game pretty much?
Yeah, years and years ago.
Yeah, it's basically a. This is still 4v1.
5.
Well, I know that.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this game. They did a... I've seen video of it, but like that was a long time ago.
They're supposed to announce.
Because, like,
Oh,
yeah,
they-
each person had a perk or a role. There was the nerd who had to fix everything. The jock who would fight back.
Okay,
Nice game.
so
And what are the tutorials gonna be like in that?
I wonder.
RT to swing.
They have the beta
Um,
coming out this weekend on the 2nd.
Don't you mean left click to swing? You controller plebeian.
I switched
Mr.
to keyboard
I like-
and mouse yesterday. Because I couldn't hit shit with a controller. Pinpoint accuracy with a controller when you're trying to hit a killer or a survivor who's dodging you.
Try to hit a killer. I wish.
I'm going to try and do the beta for this. It's November 2nd through the 4th. You got to do the Gleam thing.
I'm going to see Bohemian Rhapsody instead. So have fun with that. How about Overwatch tutorial? It's training level.
Oh Lord.
Here's a bunch of targets. Shoot at them. Have fun. Never mind the fact that they jump over walls. They fucking snipe you from a distance. No. We're preparing you for real life.
By shooting stationary things.
Exactly.
I don't shoot back.
Or dodge in any form at all.
I think we already talked about that though. How tutorials don't prepare you for the actual game.
I'm just saying now. At this point, I'm out of shit to say. I'm just repeating.
All right, just repeating, huh?
Yeah. I didn't come here with a whole lot to say.
I mean, that's
I
usual.
wanted to bash on Bethesda. That's all I wanted to do.
And you barely bashed on Bethesda.
Yeah. Well, it's not a bad game. It's just I hate the unskippable tutorial.
That's it.
That's it. I love Bethesda.
Those games are pretty straightforward, though. I mean, there's item management, which makes it more complex, but I mean, they don't even talk about that.
They don't even tell you, oh, you can favorite your things and shit. You gotta figure that out yourself.
I mean,
now that I think about it, yeah, like, the game doesn't teach you jack fucking shit.
They have the button prompts on the screen usually for stuff. Obviously,
I'm saying, like, they don't teach you how to do anything, now that I think about it. You gotta figure it out yourself.
Yeah, but it's right there on the screen. You could read what it says. F to favorite.
Read. I don't
know.
read.
But that's
just
okay.
Button mash through everything.
I also know that's true.
Anything else you guys want to talk about?
But how I'm never gonna play playing games with you because you spam the freaking low kick.
Pretty much.
There's ways around that.
High kick. I'm the guy that likes to block and like lure you to the edge and then fly over you and kick you over. That's what I do.
Basically, you're a cheap one.
It wins, so therefore I don't care. I've been watching things about Soul Calibur. People are talking about like, how you can make anything you want, right? And then they're all like, "We didn't know this game was coming out." Nobody fucking knew it was coming out.
I mean, are people really not paying attention at all?
No. Nobody I watched paid any attention. Soul Calibur.
How dare they? It's like such a fun fighting series.
Is it though? It's the same game every year. Ooh, they announced that Raphael will be in it. Like, of course he was. Been in every single fucking one.
It's still fun. They added more stuff to it.
I feel like that's true for a lot of fighting games, but I always like the new Mortal Kombat.
Why?
They change things around a lot. They add a lot of new mechanics.
You know what this Soul Calibur did, by the way? I heard they had a reduced roster, but they added to make your own characters. That's the most genius thing I've ever heard.
No, they
can't come up with any ideas. You guys
had
make
that
them.
in 5 and 5 as well, and as well as 4.
It wasn't as good.
It's not the one he wanted.
You can still make big dongs on characters, and
that's not what I'm talking about. I've seen people make SpongeBob. Someone made Mr. Clean. Like, do whatever.
Oh yeah, it's so hard to make a bald, straight, muscular guy with white shirt.
Yeah, you'd think.
What weapon does he use?
Fist.
There is no fist.
Scrubbing action.
I didn't see his weapon. I just saw what he looked like. His intro or whatever. What else you guys got?
Tutorials. I like when tutorials reward you for sitting through them. Like you get a bonus for doing the tutorial, like XP or something.
Oh fuck! I'm playing Wasteland 2. You don't level up very fast in that game. Like I've gone through the first few fights, and you know it's normally in that point in any video game where you would have leveled up like 3 times by now.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't leveled up once.
My God.
There is no tutorial. It's like, okay, I want you to go do this. Have fun. It teaches you nothing. Your first fight, it doesn't even tell you how to shoot.
What?
It's like an XCOG. It doesn't tell you how to do anything. You go into a fight, and it's like, okay, kill him.
What do you think about like narrators or text or not even any kind of instructions and tutorials?
I'd like to have some sort of narrator.
So you prefer a narrator over like text?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like to read a paragraph.
Yeah, I don't play games to read.
Exactly. So,
We're talking about narrators, though. One of the best narrators is the one from Stanley Parable.
Oh, yes.
I mean, the one who literally just gave up halfway through yeah. He gives up several times.
Exactly.
You know how we don't want to read? Could you imagine, like, in older games that had the booklets, if you opened it up and the narrator would start reading?
God.
I would love that. I also get creeped out by it.
Mommy, the voices in my head are speaking again. Use A to jump.
Use A to jump. This is your schizophrenic voice.
X to slash.
Press A to
X
say
up
apple.
to do uppercut.
Where you play
sharpen.
video games so much that they give you induced schizophrenia.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's like whispers in Dead by Daylight, the perk that makes noise when you're near a survivor. It just whispers, use M1 to attack. Stop that. I know this.
He's got writings all over the wall that just like manual instructions on how to do skills.
What are you gonna go wash, Tim? The dishes? The clothes? Yourself?
Get the message, man. I gotta go.
What are you washing? That ain't a washroom. That's the poop room.
I'm ending.
All
You
right,
need
all
to
right.
wash your butt.
Damn it.
I think we're gonna call it here because we're sort of rambling on now and just picking on Tim, which is what we usually do anyway. But
I'm shaking in my fucking chair for the past 20 minutes like, okay guys, let's end it. Let's talk about this. Like, alright.
this is why you
keeps
go
going.
before you start doing
I
something.
didn't think it was gonna be an hour.
It's like taking a kid on a car trip.
You should have went before we started.
I didn't think it happened. I didn't have to go then.
10 minutes, I'm like, oh, only another 10, 15 minutes left of this. 30 minutes later, like, okay then, let's end it now. No, oh, we're still going.
Try to shoot for 45 to an hour.
No one told me this.
Anyway, yeah, we're gonna end it here.
I wasn't planning
Guys-
to talk about tutorials for fucking an hour. Jesus Christ. I'm prepared.
You were not prepared. You
No.
chose poorly.
Yes.
So, anything you guys want to shout out?
I gotta go.
All right. Well, I'll
That
leave
was my
links.
shout.
I'll leave links for everyone in the description. Thanks everyone for tuning in. See y'all in the next one. Bye.